Hello there, internet people. Today we're going to talk about the R9. Since this just came out, I'm pretty excited to talk about it, but there's just so much. I'm just going to chill and just talk about how it looks. First glance, it looks so, it's so amazing. With the MT-09s and the MT-07s, how they change how they looked every 2 or 3 years, and didn't really like most of them until the current generation. I'm glad that they put that DNA to this motorcycle. Overall, it still matches with the current R series, but it's still a lot more modern somehow. I don't know how Yamaha made it look brand new, but yet doesn't make it feel like it's out of place from the other motorcycles, such as the R1 or R7s. But yeah, let's start with the front end. God, my favorite part. It was so staggering at first. Is this real? I thought it was not. I don't know. I'm a Yamaha fanboy. When the R6 was announced to be discontinued, I was so sad. But looking at this now, I don't know. I'm happy to look at it. Now, I'm not in a position to buy one, but it excites me if I'm I don't know, if I'm rich enough, I could get this. Hopefully someday. But yeah, the looks. Let's start with the front shield. The front, it has angular angles. Now, the picture I'm looking at doesn't have the mirrors, but it looks so sexy without the mirrors. It's so clean. It doesn't have the problem, as at first glance anyways, that the R15 had. Since I had an R15, and if you didn't have the mirrors, it felt like you'd have a big, really big forehead. But I think because this is just kind of uniform, with the R15, it kind of angled inwards a bit and then up. Whilst this, it does kind of, but it doesn't really separate the two shapes, if that makes any sense. It feels more just sculptured instead of mashing two shapes into one. Now with the mirrors, it looked fine, but without the mirrors, it just looked like you had a really big forehead. Next up, the lights. Man, I'm really surprised they went with this style. They've been using the one LEDs. It seems here there's two lines for DRL design. Looks very fresh, and the R3 also has it. No complaints. They really did good on the light, because the main light is still in the the massive hole in the middle. So in the R15s, you can see the lights from even the side picture like this one, but in this picture, this bike, you can't even see the lights. I might be a simp, but it still looks pretty good with the lights on. Maybe because the hole itself isn't too big compared to the bike. But yeah, overall, the front shield with the lights look amazing. Next up, the winglets and fairings. This also brought me by surprise. Did not know Yamaha would go with the winglets, because for the longest time, I think Yamaha was the last one to integrate some sort of winglet. Okay, Kawasaki also didn't put a winglet on their stuff, but for 2025, Yamaha has put winglets in most of their bikes, and the R9 is one that's the winglet is part of the design, and I like how it looks. Since the shield is so angular, it works with the pointy winglet, and also the fairing doesn't get disturbed with the blinkers, because the blinkers are on the mirrors, which is great. Look at this. It doesn't have the protruding thingamabobs, man. It's a sick looking bike. The front end looks so good, especially with the double disc brake. The front double disc brakes makes the front look so packed, so meaty. Oh, I'm gonna beat you to pieces. Huh? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just way too excited from how this looks alone. The frame doesn't look that different from the MT-09, but maybe I'm wrong. Well, of course I'm wrong, because Yamaha said that it's completely redesigned for this. But let's move to the tank. The tank doesn't look anything special. It kind of looks like R1's. It still looks really good. It matches with the front angular. Maybe that's still a plastic, but hopefully that's metal. I'm not even sure. I guess for my least favorite part is the rear end. It's new. It doesn't copy the old one, but I kind of wish they still stuck with the old one, where the R1, it flares out a lot more. With this, what I'm looking at, it fits with the bike, but it look kind of weird type of situation. If I look at this alone, it doesn't look as good as if I looked at R1's rear end, even on R15's, in pictures at least. Maybe in real life is a lot more better, but the angle of this is a lot more high. But in turn, you do get an effect for that rear tire being very big, since the rear end feels like shorter to the front a bit, like feels like a little bit cut off. Makes the rear tire really stand out, which I do like. Very good. Another problem I have with how it looks is the bottom exhaust. It shows off the swing arm really well, but I don't know. The exhaust looks kind of weird. Maybe if yeah, that's the one thing I would modify, and probably the only thing I would modify about this bike. After removing all like the mirrors and the rear mudguard, man, yeah, I like this design way better than the R7. Facts. Actually, this is second to the R1. My favorite is the R1 still, and this is second. Third is the R15. Now, next up, I'm gonna look at the design for the R3, or the new R3. So that's it for my thoughts of how the R9 looks. I'm not gonna go into the R3 because I've already yapped enough, and seems like the yapping got worse when I talked about the R3. So maybe I'll just do it for another video. This is the first kind of video like this that I'm doing. Hopefully you like it. If not, I'll still make more. Too bad. Subscribe.